undisputed, no mistakes are playing big. In the end, you'll all marvel like it's...
Welcome back, everyone, to the Mike and Ike Show. I'm Mike.
And I'm Mike. Welcome to week 9 of the XCFL.
Well, time for one of my favorite segments of the week, Richard Dickerson's predictions. Boy, Mike, some of these teams are not getting on the good side of Dick Dickerson, and they really let him hear about it on the GroupMe chat. Al, thanks for coming in again this week. We can't wait to hear your predictions.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Like coming in every week. Just to set the record straight, I'm 60-46 coming into week 8. I'm 6-4 right now. I got a couple games left. We'll see what happens. But on to week 9. What do we got?
All right. Well, first off, just so everyone remembers, we absolutely love if you guys hit up the Mike and Ike Twitter if you disagree or agree with the predictions this week. So, first up, we got a matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. Does that Swede ARV get a win this week?
Not this week. I think the Falcons are going to overtake the Bucs. They're playing in Tampa. Falcons are close to home. I think they'll win by 6.
Alrighty, let's see here. I'm going to go... I like ARV, my friendly Swede. But I'm going to go Atlanta Falcons. I think Atlanta Falcons, when they get put in a corner, you always know you got Julio Jones as your safety net. In the game, he's pretty insane. And I feel like they're going to win by a touchdown. And I think it's going to be close, and then at the end of the game, it's going to be like, well, we got to win, so let's throw to Julio Jones, and that's how they're going to win. Let's see. Man, we got a good game in store this week. We've got the powerhouse Buffalo Bills versus another powerhouse, the Seattle Seahawks. Both coaches are XCFL admins. Which one claims victory this week?
I'm going to go Seahawks here over the Bills. It's going to be a good matchup. This is probably going to be the XCFL matchup of the week. I think the Seahawks win it by 3.
I would love to disagree with you. I mean, they are my team. But the Seattle coach is getting married this weekend, and we may have some scheduling conflicts, so it may have to be a sim. And if it's a sim, I don't think my Bills have what it takes to win. If we can get a time hooked up to play, then I'm disagreeing with you, and I'm going to say my Bills are going to take it. So we'll just kind of have to see. I'm trying to get him to play on his wedding day, but he's not liking that, so who knows?
Oh, come on. Rose before hose.
All right, let's see. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers have a challenge this week versus the Baltimore Ravens?
Pittsburgh, Ravens. This is always a good divisional matchup. 2 good coaches, but Steelers are going to win this one by 13.
Interesting. Steelers by 13. Oh, man, I haven't really followed the Ravens. I believe, isn't the Ravens a team? I think somebody's got the Ravens. I think that's knockout. So, I played Jim. I'm gonna go Steelers. I'm gonna go Steelers with an easy win. So I think I agree with you here. Steelers. I think you said 13. So I'm gonna agree with that one. All right, Minnesota Vikings. They're no longer undefeated in the XCFL. Do they have a strong victory as a payback this week against Detroit Lions?
I think so. Vikings are going to beat up on the Lions this week. I think this might even be the blowout of the week. Another divisional game. It's in Minnesota, and I think the Vikings are looking for some revenge.
I got to agree with you there 100%. I think Vikings are going to take it, although the Lions did just take down the Texans today with a just crazy score of 6-5. So the Lions showed that the new coach is much, much more improved over the previous one, and they might shock some people. But I'm going to still go Vikings here. All right, Dolphins versus the Jets. So, did the Jets finally get their first win?
Not this week. Jets travel down to Miami. Miami's a CPU team. I think people are sleeping on that team still. Unfortunately, the Jets don't win in this one. I think they're going to lose by 6.
Ooh, man, he's gonna going to hate hearing that. I hope the Jets get their first W. You know what? I'm going to pick the Jets just so they get their first W. You've heard it on the Mike and Ike show. You've heard Ike support. If the Jets get their first W this week, it's because I said so. Anyways, next we have the Rams versus the computer-controlled Panthers. You got to watch out for the computer-controlled Panthers because they have a computer-controlled Cam Newton. And a computer-controlled Cam Newton runs for his life and throws the ball like he's standing still and there's no one's coming at him. So, who's going to win this matchup?
Even though this one's out in Los Angeles, I have to agree. The computer-controlled Panthers are going to be too much for the Rams to handle. I think the Panthers win by 14.
Ooh, absolutely not. Mr. Cornblower over there in Los Angeles. Cornblower, that's right, yeah. I think he's going to pull out the win here. He's had a couple losses back to back, I think 2 or 3, I can't remember. So I think he will come out firing, guns blazing, and I think Panthers are gonna get beat pretty easily. Saints have some good, and they've had some poor games. So how do you think they fare this week against the San Francisco 49ers?
I think the Niners are going to win this one at home over the Saints. I think the Niners win by 6.
Alrighty. Let's see. Niners by 6. Man, I played the Saints, and I thought they were a pretty good team. I think Soapy's a pretty good coach. I'm gonna give Soap give him the win. I'm gonna say it's a close game. I bet they win by 3. Next up, we have a game that we know with almost certainty that it's gonna happen Wednesday or Saturday. So everybody knows before they ask that it's gonna happen on Wednesday or Saturday. And that is Sean's Colts against the Packers. Who wins?
Packers are going to win this one. Packers need to win this one. I think they do it at home against the Colts. The Colts they're a good team, but I just think Green Bay is better at home. And with the Colts visiting in the cold, Green Bay by 13.
Ooh, that's tough. I think Green Bay could easily win here, but on the flip side, the Colts need the win, so I think the Colts are actually going to surprise people and pull out the win here. Let's look at the next one we got is the Cowboys. Very tough team to beat. They play the Browns, who are not so tough to beat. However, they've had a few surprising games, so you never know. Is it a blowout victory for the Cowboys this week, or do the Browns stand a chance?
I think Browns will keep it close early, but in the end, Dallas is too tough to compete with the Browns, and Dallas is going to win this one by 14.
I believe that's correct. Like Mike said, that I think the Browns are tough. I think the owner of the Browns is going to be really tough when he starts changing that team to what he wants to be. The Cowboys are going to be pretty hard to beat for them, though, and I think the Cowboys clearly got this. If they run the ball, and if that sets up their passing game, it's going to be really hard to stop that offense. All right, we've got another XCFL admin rivalry game. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Which one walks away with the W?
Chiefs are at home. Chiefs get the win. Chiefs beat the Jags by 13.
Well, I don't think I have too many reasons to disagree with you there. So, Jags, I'm pretty sure just came off of a loss. So, once they're down, I think they're going to stay down. So, Chiefs win by 13. I can see that happening. All right. So, now we have a rivalry. Denver Broncos at the Oakland Raiders. Huge AFC matchup here. AFC West matchup, sorry. So, does having the home field advantage matter in Madden? Or who's going to pull this one out?
This one can always go either way. It's in Oakland, Denver. They're going to take this one. I think they're going to take it pretty easy. They might even win by 20.
Ooh, tough call. I think this could be a toss-up. I'm going to give the win to Denver. Oakland, we have kind of a owner on MIA right now, so that may depend. I think Denver's a good team. I think Denver gets the win. All right, we got another rivalry game of Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants. Oh, wait 1 second. I just got a note here. It looks like Matt, who's the owner of the Eagles, just was quoted in saying that he accidentally punched his ad spots. And what is this? It says, I like to play with my ad spots on my lap because it's cold in the garage. Now, why would you need your ad spots on your lap? I mean, I don't really understand the purpose of that. I'm kind of confused. But, here you go. He puts his beer on it. That makes sense. He smokes weed, puts his beer on it. Totally makes sense now. He may not have an Xbox, so is that an easy win for the Giants?
I'm not sure what to do with this one here after those breaking news notes, but I did pick Philadelphia to win this one. I might have to double back, but talented to play with your Xbox on your lap with a beer on it. That's pretty interesting.
Warm, cozy.
But I think Eagles will take this one regardless. Again, a good divisional matchup, but I think the Eagles are going to win by 7.
Well, I think the Giants could win, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to be a CPU team this week. So if it's CPU versus CPU, I'm going Eagles. If Eagles manages to somehow play, I'm going Eagles. So either way, I'm going Eagles. And I would like to take this time to introduce my new product. I'm going to start selling a lap caddy. You can place your Xbox One on your lap there. You can have your cup holder on your left side, right side, extra batteries for your controller because everyone needs those.
Everybody needs them.
If you're interested, just send us a tweet to the Mike and Ike Twitter, and we can make you one up. I mean, might sell for $10, $20, $30. Who knows? Just make an offer.
Whatever.
Just make an offer. Who knows? Okay. Last prediction. Tennessee Titans, who it's Boone's favorite team that he got to switch to, versus his previously dominant team, the San Diego Chargers. Surely Boone easily beats the AI Chargers, correct?
Not correct. I think the Chargers get revenge against their old coach. They're playing at home. Boone sometimes, you just don't know where he's going to go. I watched a couple of his games. The guy's funny as hell. But I think the Chargers are going to win this one by 13.
You know what Boone should do? Run the ball. If he ran the ball, he may actually be even better. But he just loves to pass. And I will give it to him because if you are beating Boone by 3 touchdowns at halftime, the man can throw the ball and catch up and somehow almost win the game, if not win the game. So you got to give it to him. Boone's a great coach of the year previously. But if he ran the ball, he'd be incredible. I think it would be hilarious if the Chargers beat Boone. I would milk that for weeks. It would be jokes on the show. But I unfortunately think the Titans win. So we'll say they won by 2 points. They get a safety. It'll be fantastic. Anyways, Al, thanks for coming on, giving us your predictions. Make sure to hit Mike and Ike or hit up Richard Dickerson on Twitter. Make sure you mouth off to us and say, hey, you picked my team wrong or whatever. You know what? Prove us wrong. We love that. And thanks again, Al, for coming on.
No problem. Thanks, guys, for having me. Look forward to seeing what happens in Week 9. We're just about halfway there.
Alrighty, Ike. I have a little surprise for you. I started my own business.
Oh, great. Sounds like a good idea. Let's hear it.
Well, it's called the MASH Hotline.
And that serves what purpose again?
Well, if you couldn't figure it out on your own, it stands for Madden Addicts Seeking Help. So it's for all those guys out there who became too engrossed in Madden that it affects their regular lives. They can call in for advice. In fact, I intend to open the lines right now, and the first caller will be broadcasted live right here on Mike and Ike. Lines are open right now. Call 1-800-555-MASH. And we have our first caller. Welcome to the MASH Hotline. Whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
The name is Boone.
Oh, alrighty. Well, what's the problem?
Well, this past weekend, my girlfriend told me I had to pick her or Madden. She said I'd become too involved in the game and taking too much time. She made it seem like a sickness or something.
Alright. Well, what was your response?
I haven't given her one yet. She gave me a week to decide.
Perfect. Alright. So you have a full week to implement this plan. First, don't do anything stupid and go over the top with flowers or anything gushy like that. Instead, you're going to buy credits, so budget your time wisely. Best way to make your girlfriend or wife happy is do things without her asking. Laundry, dishes, vacuum, dusting, all that fun stuff that everyone hates. But she will be thrilled and you will build up credit that you can use later. Compromise is a must when it comes to relationships.
Man, I don't know. That sounds like an awful lot of work.
Well, it definitely can be. On the flip side, if the woman is already naggy and you're not even married, well, it might be time to reassess that relationship. There are plenty of fish out there in the sea, and if she's nagging you now, it's only going to get worse. Nagging doesn't go away, ever.
Oh man, you're right on that one. She can be awful naggy. Even the smallest stuff.
Well, then my advice here is to scrap the stuff before and just get out while you still can.
You know something? You're right. I'm gonna just end this right now. Thanks, you're such a genius.
Anytime. And thanks for calling the MASH hotline. It's what we do here. Tell your friends about us. All right, Ike, so what'd you think of my business?
Well, I mean, you kind of ended that dude's relationship, right? I mean, how are you making money off this thing that you call a business anyways?
Well, I may have ended his relationship, but I saved him far more. And eventually, I'm going to get sponsors. Possibly you. And then the big bucks will start rolling in.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. You keep trying.
Well, let's transition now to our last segment for the week. We got Brent, coach of the Rams. Those of you that don't know, Brent did an amazing job last offseason writing about what teams need and what they should look for in the draft and free agency. Welcome to the show, Brent.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem, man. We really appreciate the work that you put into last off season. You were working like a dog last off season, and I know a lot of people appreciate that. And we thought it'd be fun to come in on the show and actually discuss kind of what you were thinking instead of just typing it up. We tasked you with 2 divisions, and we're going to do 2 divisions each couple weeks, I think, every other week or so. This week, we're going to start with NFC West and AFC West. Why don't you give us a quick little rundown of your suggestions for the NFC West first, and we'll have a little discussion afterwards.
Sure. I'll start by saying I much prefer doing it this way, guys, because it was a lot to type up an hour every time. But sitting here and talking with you guys is a breeze. So we'll start off in the NFC West with the 49ers. 49ers are 1-6 right now. So I'd expect a pretty high draft pick out of them. Not really much to build around. That team's pretty barren. I'm sure the owner knew that when he was taking them on. Biggest position of need to me is the quarterback. Blaine Gabbert being your number one guy just isn't going to cut it. But all around, I mean, they've got a below average pass attack. They can't run the ball. They're the third worst in the league. And they just got holes all over that offense. So I'd look to start with a QB if I was them and then build around that for the future. When we come up to the Cardinals here, much different team, right? They might have a 2-5 record, but this is a really good team. They've got a lot of young pieces to build around, and I would just expect good things from them in the future. Couple tough losses for them. But when it comes to them, they have the 4th worst offense, so I definitely look for them to build on that side of the ball. Probably look towards the O-line. Their right tackle's kind of weak, and possibly even look at a QB as well, because Carson Palmer's getting kind of old, and they don't really have a backup place and plan. That right tackle would also help their rushing game. They have the worst rush attack in the entire league. Moving on to the Seahawks. Again, another really solid team. And this team's a complete opposite of what we've done so far. They're 6-1. So for them, they've already got the core. They're just looking to build around that. Maybe add the extra star that can push them over the top and look at some Super Bowl hopes. They've got the 4th best passing offense and a top 10 D. So, that's their bread and butter. Might want to try and get that running game going a little bit. So you could look at the O-line first. seeing as Rawls is already in place. Or if there's a stud running back, you can always go out and get a guy if he's available. And then moving on to the Rams, my own team. So this will be a pretty easy one for me. We have the second worst offense in the league, which I'm not proud of. Still seem to be getting it done though, with a 5-3 record at the moment. And the reason we're getting that done is the turnover differential. I got the number one turnover differential in the league. I think it's plus 13 turnovers. I can't bank on that all year, so I'm going to have to get this offense going for sure. I'm going to look probably on the O-line or for a star receiver. Seems like no one's open for me, and Gurley can't move the ball, and it's not him that's the problem. It's definitely the O-line. So I'll turn it over to you guys. You can give me your thoughts on that and go from there.
Well, that's a lot to take in right off the bat.
Yeah.
But instantly, I mean, there's almost everything you said I agree with 100%. I'm gonna look at the Seahawks just because I just played them with my Bills and took a pretty hard loss. So I actually injured Thomas Rawls, and Christine Michael came in, and he did pretty well. And I think the running back situation is pretty solid there in Seattle. Honestly, I mean, Rawls is great. Christine Michael is a very formidable backup, so I think running back's good there. Wide receiver, Jermaine Kearse just destroyed my number one corner like 3 times, and just moshed him. So I don't know how good Jermaine Kearse is in real life, but in this game he's way too good. So I feel like the O-line's definitely their biggest need. But saying that, they held Vic Beasley out. I mean, he had 2 sacks, but I worked my butt off to get my sacks with Vic Beasley, and so I don't know. O-line, I would say that is their biggest need for sure. And then other than that, I think they got a pretty stout team as long as he can keep those guys signed. And then I'll look at the Cardinals. I mean, yeah, they have a horrible offense, but no offense to Jim whatsoever. I feel like it's almost a user issue. I mean, heck, you've got an amazing running back, David Johnson. You got great hands with Fitzgerald. You got Michael Floyd. You got John Brown. You got J-Ron Brown and J.J. Nelson, who's crazy fast. So I mean, you got those pieces there. So offense is struggling there. I think maybe offense isn't quite tuned to what the user likes to do. So I think perhaps just changing the game plan a little bit could quite change the outcome of his offense. But I'll just pick those 2 teams and let Ike tackle the other ones if he wants to.
Oh, yeah, sure. I was actually thinking of the 49ers and the Rams, so that worked out well. I'll start off with the 49ers. They got that current record of 1-6. I haven't played them. It looks like they're needing a lot. I would definitely agree that quarterback is a problem there. But they really just don't have the pieces. Like, even if you're just a really good player, I feel like 49ers is a team that you would kind of struggle with offensively. And so they really, and like you said, they're probably going to have, Brent said they're going to have a high draft pick. I think they're going to need it. The problem is, where do you use it? And you're going to may have to use it on quarterback and hope for the best. Or maybe you could get a really, really good wide receiver. I don't know. I don't know what they're building. They got the defense, though, top 10 D. And I wouldn't say the 49ers have an amazing D in the game. I mean, it's serviceable. So obviously this user is doing a good job with it. So focus on offense. And then looking at Brent's team, the Rams, they're 4-3. I do not think Gurley's the problem. I think it's crazy that you're even trying to shop Gurley. I will say that the O-line is so important in this game. I can use the same running back on one team's O-line and then use that running back, mess around another team's O-line or change the O-line around in a fun franchise. And it really does make the difference. So I think you got to really focus on O-line there. Can't believe you have so many turnovers. That's crazy. So I guess keep that up. Rams have a pretty good defense. So you got that going for you, and you got the 5th best defense. So I really think if you build that O-line, which will give your quarterback more time and also your running back more lanes, I think that team is going to be pretty good long term. Let's go ahead and move over though to the AFC West.
Yeah, so we'll start with the Broncos over here. Broncos are currently 5-3. Um, this is a user who I haven't got to watch very much of his game, but he does have a top 10 passing offense. Um, so it's pretty hard to judge because the Broncos are a very good team. When you look at them, you think QB and offensive line are their two biggest problems. But with the top 10 passing offense, it kind of makes you question whether a QB is really what he needs. Um, being as that is, I'd probably go offensive line if I was the Broncos, just because you can never have enough of those guys. And as you were just saying, it's so important. Maybe that'll get his running game going, and then he can have like just one of the best offenses in the league all around. Um, when it comes to the Chargers, I would probably say, I mean, it's a current record of 1-7, sixth worst offense, second worst D. There's not much good you can say about this, but it is a CPU run team, so what do you expect? With them, Phillip Rivers is starting to get a little bit old. Again, the offensive line is a problem, which seems to be the case, so it might be hard to get an offensive lineman in this draft. They have linebacker issues and safety issues as well, though, so they can really go anywhere they want. Probably just best player on the board for the Chargers. Looking at your team, Brian, the Chiefs, you guys are killing it on the running offense. You guys have the fourth best rush game in the league, and the third best D. So those are really going well for you. But then your offense still is bottom 10.
Quarterback
Game going. So
excuse me.
Yeah, I think you just said it there. You guys are definitely going to need a quarterback, maybe some receivers, because it looks like if you could get that passing offense going, you'd be a pretty strong team. That's for sure. Last one's the Raiders, currently CPU managed again. They did have an owner earlier in the year, though, so I'm not sure they can use that as an excuse for their 2-6 record. They got the third best offense in the league. Clearly, people aren't playing great defense against this CPU. Sixth best rushing team and fifth worst defense, though, so they're complete opposite ends of the spectrum. This offense is already built up. Great young team. I'd look on the defensive end, look to get them either a linebacker or a cornerback, most likely. The owner before did trade David Amerson, so they don't have much going for them at corner anymore. So I'd probably look there if possible.
Well, I'll agree with you on the Raiders. I watched them play a little bit. Offense seems fine. No real issues. You got great receivers, especially now they traded the Cowboys for Terrence Williams. So they got Terrence Williams in their slot, I believe. Then they got Crabtree. Then they got Amari Cooper. So receivers, they are stacked. And then Latavius Murray is just way overpowered in this game. Way too fast. Way high trucking. He's just an animal. So defense is definitely their big need. They have Khalil Mack, but really, in terms of pass rush, that's all they have is Khalil Mack. So I would probably look pass rush because, in my opinion, this game, if you can have a good pass rush, it makes the rest of your defense so much better. I mean, if you look at my Bills, that's the only reason my defenses are ever successful is because I'm putting pressure on QBs nonstop, and they're making fast throws, quick throws, bad throws, and that's how I get my turnovers. Oh, then I'll look over at the Broncos just because I don't want both CPU teams here. Look at the Broncos. I've watched him play a little bit, and his record's 5-3. He has one of the best teams in the league in terms of overalls and in terms of how good they should be. So I feel like it's a pretty average record for how good the team should be. Quarterback, at face value, that might be their biggest need, but after watching them, I don't think that's their biggest need. I think their biggest need is probably O-line. It's like everybody else, it seems like. But other than that, I mean, they're stacked at quarterback or cornerback, stacked at safety. Linebackers, you might be able to use a linebacker or two. I don't know. I mean, they got Von Miller, but Brandon Marshall. So I don't know. They're pretty stacked. So I'll let good old Ike take his Chiefs and the Chargers.
I'll start with the Chargers real quick. I played them, and it's just not a good team. So, you got that they probably need everything. I feel like their situation is just poor. I feel like somebody could do some things. I mean, you still got some pieces on offense, so I almost feel like defense would be very helpful for them. They do have the second worst defense. So for me, if it was a user team, you ride the offense and you pit the defense if someone picks that up, and you try to help the defense, which is pretty poor. And you try to ride that offense, and then hopefully down the road you can make some trades or fix it. And then I'll take my Chiefs. As I mentioned, the quarterback situation, the wide receiver situation, it's gotta be helped. Offensive line could be helped. I need a pass rusher real bad. I've got Justin Houston, and he'll get his sacks, and actually Nick Fairley. You said defensive tackle on here. Nick Fairley, I have the third best. I have a pretty good run defense. I forgot what the run defense is ranked overall. But pretty good run defense, and I took out Poe and I put Fairley in, and it really hasn't changed anything. So I think that if I had a pass rusher and then I had either A, a very good wide receiver, top wide receiver, or B, made a change at quarterback, I would be severely helped. Well, that's all we got for the podcast this week, folks. Thanks for listening. Remember, if you disagree with Al's picks or Brent's ideas for the offseason, or hell, you just want to talk to us about something, hit us up on Twitter. For Mike, for Brent, and for myself, Ike. Have fun out there playing your games. Mike out. Thanks, Brent, for coming in.
Yeah, that's right.
Other leagues don't like us 'cause we are better than them. We have the best commissioner when his name's Jim. He don't get caught up in that cheese 'cause he's always watching you, and you should know. He even watches when you sleep, and if you want to join the XCFL, then brother, you had better keep it in. In other leagues, they try to be like us, but brother, they just cannot keep it simple.